Hello, my name is James McNally from Wiresmith Technology, and we develop automated measurement systems to enable engineers and scientists to be more productive when developing new products. I wanted to create a quick video to explain a little bit about dynamic signals and data acquisition systems because there's a lot of different specs involved, and I want to make sure that you can understand why you might need different equipment. So, a normal signal might be we just care about the level of the signal. So if we've got a voltage, we might just care if it rises or falls. And so that we can say is kind of a normal signal. It might be 0 to 10 volts. And we might be interested in changes of say 1% of that. Dynamic signals are a little bit more interesting. And by dynamic, I'm really talking about things like vibration, sound, loads and strains when they're in dynamic signals, because quite often we're not only interested in the main signal but also any higher frequency elements which tend to be very small. So you might have like a main carrier frequency, but there's going to be some small harmonics on there. So our main signal might be like 10 volts. But then actually we're also trying to measure this little signal here that could be 10 millivolts. And because we need to measure both big and small signals, we need something with a high dynamic range. And so what that really means in DAQ cards is generally you'll see there will be cards which have a higher 24-bit ADC, a lower noise floor, and the front end is designed to really be able to pick out those small signals. An easier way to think about this is to look at it in the frequency domain. So if we have our frequency across the bottom, and this is more commonly how we look at these signals, you're going to have a real signal where you have our big main peak and our little harmonic that we might be interested in. And so what the dynamic cards really look different here is your standard card might have quite a high noise floor. So what happens is you'll see this big peak, but you won't see the smaller peak. And I like to think about that like you see these images of villages that have been covered up by dams, flooded by dams. And you know there's a village under there, but you just see the smooth water. Whereas what the high dynamic range cards can do when we put in a 24-bit ADC is we drop this noise floor, and now we can still make out this smaller signal. And that's like when those flood waters recede and you just get that church spire kind of sticking out of the water. So that's why we might recommend for these types of signals a card with a 24-bit ADC that's specially designed for capturing this high dynamic range. So I hope that's interesting and useful. Any questions, I'll put a link below to my website, my contact details, or feel free to leave a comment. Thank you very much.